Welcome to this new video. This time I want to talk about WPScan. And WPScan is a vulnerability scanning solution or a framework that you use to scan websites built with WordPress. And that scanning, you're going to be able to get results such as enumerating the site and the site settings. And if you use APIs, you're going to be able to identify any vulnerabilities present on that site and the site plugins. Now, with WP Scanned, you're going to be able to find sensitive information and disclosure when it comes to plugin and themes installation. You're going to be able to find path discovery with weak password policies if that's something that it is implemented, but you have to do some brute forcing on it. So it's not that you run the scan and it's going to say, oh, the passwords are a weak password. No, you have to do brute forcing, and then you're going to be able to determine whether the, the password policy is weak. And you're also going to be able to identify any presence of the default installations, if anything is left as default. And you're going to be able to test web application firewalls if that's sitting behind a web application firewall. So, as any other vulnerability assessment, it depends on the how updated the database and the uh, signatures are on that, right? Like the scan is going to be good as the um, database that you have to make sure that the database is updated. And of course, that has to be a project that is maintained and they constantly update that information for vulnerabilities. And in the case that WP Scan, that is true. WP Scan has a commercial version and a public or free version, as you can imagine, like any other vulnerability assessment solution. The free version, community version, is going to be limited in what you can do on the reporting and capabilities. But even with its limitations, you're going to be able to get a lot of it. And again, if after you run the free version of it, you see that you need more of it, then you can talk to the salespeople and see if you can get the commercial version. So, but in this case, we're going to be talking about the free version that is command line based. And as you can see here, this is the help menu. If you just type, and again, I'm running this on Kali Linux. If you type WP scan, that's going to show you the basic menu, right? This is the basic information, and it gives you examples. URL, update, help, and two ways to get help on version. Something that you would like to do the first time you run it is just like do a version to see what you're running, and then it is going to tell you when was the last time that the database was updated. And in my case, I did it today, but I'm running on version 3.8.25. And if you want to update, so just do update, and that's gonna check for anything that is out of date, and it's gonna download it if needed. So, but where you're gonna be spending a lot of time, I imagine, is in the help menu. And the help menu is super useful. We're not gonna go over all of this because like, there's no way, at least not in one video. But this is something you're gonna be using a lot, or you must use, right? Like you have to the URL switch is to specify the target that you're looking for. How much verbosity do you want to use when you're running the scan? If you want to export the the result of the command to a file. And then if we come down when it comes to enumeration, if you just do enumerate, that's going to try to enumerate everything on the website or not everything. It's going to try to enumerate the plugins, the users, the themes, and the theme thumbs. But you have the option of specifying one specific choice when it comes to enumeration, or you could type them all, separated by a comma. Something to keep in mind is that when you are enumerating vulnerabilities or vulnerable plugins, you need to have the API for this. And you can create an API for free. Just go to WPScan, create a new account, and then once you go through the process, that is super simple. It's going to send you an email to confirm you'll log in, and then it's going to tell you, hey, listen, here's your API, right? So the API is free for 25 API request calls that you can use, and this is enough for one site or even two sites, depending on what you are looking for or scanning for when doing the enumeration. And I just covered this. I don't even know why this is free, right? And I mean, like, if you're trying to copy someone else's API token, something that's free, you have problems. So, anyway, so let's come over here, and what we're gonna do, I ran this before. It takes some time to run depending on the site. And the first thing that you would like to do is just like run it, right? Just like, like do URL, the site, and enumerate. Boom, hit that. And in this case, I'm gonna get an error message because I have that site behind a uh, a firewall. So as you could see, the system is telling me, you know what, just run random user agent. And if you come here, it is going to tell you what a random user agent is, which means that it's not going to be using the same user agent when doing the scanning. Maybe that user agent is flagged. So once you do it, when I do this, it's going to run, like a lot of things, and it's going to take what it takes. But something that I want to show you here is that, as you could see, it's going to start by, showing you the basic headers information. Then it's going to find the robot files. Then it's going to find more basic information that is pretty much available on all WordPress sites. And then it's going to go into the more like details of it. Oh, you know what, you're using the ocean theme for this, which is pretty cool. You know what, this is cool because it is scanning all this, and then you could use this information to see if there's any known vulnerabilities for that. Like, is there any vulnerabilities for ocean themes? So you can go to WordPress if you are logged in already, right? You go to vulnerabilities and you go to themes, and it'll tell you if there's any themes known to have vulnerabilities. Let's wait for this to finish. And in this case, it's going to show that, hey, listen, there are two themes that we know have vulnerabilities, but this is not one of them, right? And the same thing with the plugins. If we scroll down, it's going to detect plugins. As you could see, it's looking for vulnerable themes. And in this case, it's enumerating theme thumbs, and then it's going to enumerate the users and the plugins. So it's going to go through that process. I'm just going to pause this for 1 second. Oh, well, actually, it's just moving pretty fast. So that is good. But as you could see, this is going through a long process. If you are looking for something specific, let's say that you just want to enumerate the users on that site, then you can specify that with the U after enumerate, and that's going to find the users. And the same thing, if you want to enumerate the plugins, you would use P. I'm not going to do this. It's gonna take too long. And then you're going to get all that information. Now, let me come back here. Where was I? Oh, I was right here. Actually, it was done. So there's something that I want to show you here, and something you should keep in mind. And this is it right here. So the scan that I did was for enumeration, not for vulnerabilities. If I want to see vulnerabilities as the result or in the result of my scan, I need to register with WPScan to get an API token that is going to allow me to do 25 daily requests uh, when scanning. And it is free. Look, the information is right here. Just go to WPScan.com, register. It's going to take you 2 minutes and it's going to give you a token. Now, when you use the token, though, at that moment and you run the scan, if you're looking for vulnerabilities, it'll tell you if you have any vulnerabilities. So let me come here. And in this case, I'm running my scan and I am enumerating, right? And you could do vulnerable, oh, shoot, not there. You could do just the enumeration and it's going to go through a long process, or you could do vulnerable plugins, right? And then you type the random user because I am behind the web application firewall and the token. This is how you the command that you want to specify an API token, and then you enter the token that was granted to you, and you hit enter, and that's going to go through the process. In this case, this is a test website that I'm running. It's pretty tight in things that I'm doing here. So I don't think that I'm going to find any vulnerabilities. Uh, request done, request remaining, catch 7. So if I come here, the oceans is the theme, and then it didn't find any vulnerable plugin. Now, if you had any vulnerable plugin, it'll display the vulnerability CVE next to the plugin that is vulnerable. So, as you could see, at that moment, you're collecting a lot of valuable information because then you're going to be able to see, oh my God. So, like, for instance, if I come here and I go to vulnerabilities and I go to plugins, you can see that there are a lot of vulnerable plugins out there, right? So this is something that you can get instead of like coming here, like identifying the plugins and coming here to compare. You can get the result of that just from the scan, right? And affected plugins, it shows you the CVE and what the CVE does, or what the vulnerability is about. So that's going to make your life easier. And again, let me come back here one more time and notice this. Remember that I have 25 API calls per day. Since I've been using this for this video, I am using those API calls, and out of the 25, I only have requests remaining 3, 4 today. So just be mindful of like how many times you are running this, and if you need to run it more, hey, listen, just create new accounts and get new APIs. um I mean, that's what they're there for. And again, so this is the basic foundation of WPScan. This is a crash course. I'm gonna have another more advanced video following this, and in that we're going to try to brute force something, see how it works, and we're going to be doing the cool stuff. Now, if you like this video, all I ask is for you to click on the like button, subscribe to my channel, leave a nice comment, and spread good vibes and love out there, because it is good karma. It'll always come back to you. Thank you for watching. I'll talk to you later.